Karen Nyamu was being auctioned. Reason, she could not pay rent. A senator could not pay rent. And Kenyans online were wondering, how can a person who is earning around 1.2 million be unable to pay rent, and then she's being auctioned? Now, the case of Karen Nyamu is a very important case that I want to narrate here to help you understand how courts and business people or lenders can work against you and you can suffer, okay? This is the logical sequence of events. Now, Karen Nyamu went to Runda when she was senator, right? Because she just wanted a house to rent. So she went there to look for a decent house in a secure neighborhood to rent a house. So her intention was to rent. Now, when she reached there, she realized that the house was looking very good. The house was attractive, in a good location. The house was generally good. And so her intention of renting converted to buying. Because when she looked at her salary and then she looked at her income sources, she felt like it was better to buy than to do what? Than to rent. And so what did she do? She approached the landlord and they made an agreement that instead of paying rent, I want to purchase this house. And what did the landlord do? We are not told what the landlord did, but we know that there was an agreement according to what Karen Nyamu told us, that there was a written agreement that she is going to purchase the house and therefore she is putting a deposit to purchase the house, right? And after putting that deposit, she will go and look for more money to come and purchase this property so that it can belong to her. So what did Karen Nyamu do? She paid the deposit. And then they made an agreement. So there's deposit, there's an agreement, there's the landlord there, everything is fine. Now, they go their separate ways. Now, this guy, instead of waiting for the payment of the house, this guy treats the amount as deposit for rent. I want you to hear me clearly. Instead of this guy treating this amount as deposit for house purchase, he treated the money as deposit for rent. And he started expecting rent from Karen Nyamu. So, we are not told, according to public records, that he went to Karen Nyamu and then asked her, you have arrears you are supposed to pay. This businessman, according to Karen Nyamu, went and kept quiet and started waiting for rent payment. Now, these rent arrears went on and then they reached around 300 and roughly 85,000, right? This is the amount that she was supposed to pay. Now, this landlord does not go to ask for this 385,000 from Karen Nyamu. What does he do? He goes to court. Now, I want you to get me very clearly. I told you lenders and business people, they usually use courts. It is a much safer option and a much better option than asking you to pay back the money. Why do they use courts? Because courts can grant them an order to auction your property and recover more money. That's where the business is. The business is not in the money that you have. The business here is in the property that you have so that they can recover it and then sell it. Okay? So this landlord does not go to Karen Nyamu, does not tell Karen Nyamu that pay me 385,000, does not tell Karen Nyamu that this is rent, does not go into a second agreement that this is supposed to be rent, because the initial agreement now was that I am buying this house and the deposit is for buying the house. So he goes to court. When he goes to court there is a magistrate, and let me tell you, almost always when you see a lender or a business person that lent you money and they go to court, they are going to get an order to attach your property. Because one, there is a debt. Two, if they demonstrate that you have not paid this debt, if they demonstrate that you are unable to pay the debt, they are going to attach your property. And so when the landlord went to court, the magistrate immediately granted the order to attach Karen Nyamu's household goods. And I believe that Karen Nyamu had goods worth over 385,000. You cannot expect a person who is earning 1.2 million to have household goods less than 1 million shillings, right? So his target was to recover more money from this. So he goes to court, obtains an order. Then the magistrate, I know he knows that recovering goods from a senator's house is a very hard task. So the magistrate then instructs the police to go to accompany the auctioneers you see, the police and the auctioneers to go to her house and then recover these goods. That is why you saw the information circulating online that Karen Nyamu was being auctioned. So Karen Nyamu comes online and then clarifies something that we did not know. You know, negative news on social media, they spread so fast. Like somebody's being auctioned. Hey, it spreads very fast. But then somebody's just in quietness. No, those news are very dull. They don't spread. So we heard the news about Karen Nyamu being auctioned. So Karen Nyamu comes online and then clarifies this initial agreement, that there was an agreement with the landlord that I'm going to purchase the house. Then instead of him telling me that he has changed the terms, the landlord has gone to court and immediately has been granted an order. And then they have come, they want to attach my property and then sell it. And then Karen Nyamu clarified that I am not broke. I earn more than 1.2 million. I can pay this rent, but I was not supposed to pay rent. What I was supposed to do is to purchase this property, right? Now I know you have gotten the issue very well. What we don't know, and what I believe should happen is that when somebody goes to court and they report you that you have not paid the money, the first thing they should do is to serve you with a statement of claim. Now I know Karen Nyamu is a lawyer. Now, I don't know, was she served with a statement of claim? I don't know. But if she had been served with a statement of claim, I know Karen Nyamu is also a lawyer who understands the consequences of not honoring that statement of claim. And therefore, I believe that she was supposed to honor this and then present herself in court. But Karen Nyamu, from what I can read, she was not served. Because if she had been served and she's a lawyer and from a reasonable standpoint, she's supposed to have gone there and then defended herself that this was a purchase agreement, it was not a rent agreement. But what happened? The magistrate just gave an order, just go attach her goods. And then the landlord came, then he wanted to attach her goods, then sell them. Now, when we digress from this story, this is what I want us to learn from this story. And I want anybody out there to understand how these courts operate with these lenders. You know, there's another business model out here that a lot of you don't know. The business model is I lend you money or I allow you to stay in my house, then I just wait for the moment you will experience a problem. Then I will come for your property. That is the business model that is happening in Nairobi. Auctioning in Nairobi has become a norm. Why? Because this is the business model. Actually, some people have set up now financial companies to lend money, not with the intention of you paying back, but with the intention of you experiencing a minor challenge, then they will come and wipe out your property. Okay, we don't know the truth, the whole truth behind this thing, because Karen Nyamu loves showbiz a lot. And to just prove that she could not pay rent or she could pay rent or she had an agreement to purchase. You see, if we had all these records public, we could establish that she was going to purchase the house. But then this is something that I have gone through and then I understand it. I understand it because, you know, when somebody took me to court and they served me with a statement of claim, I told you how I went to court and then I was muted. Up to this moment, I'm still wondering what happened in that court. It's an online court, and then you attend online court, and then you are muted, and then later on they say that you did not attend court, and then everything proceeds as it is supposed to proceed. Okay? So somebody told me that I could ask for the audit of the systems to show that the judge muted me, asked them to mute me. But why should I do that? Why should I do that if the judge wanted that to happen and then my property was sold? Why should I start following up the judge and all that? It's pointless, very pointless. So the case of Karen Nyamu actually shows you that lenders and business people can actually use courts and the police to oppress you. And this brings me to another point, that anytime you borrow money, you become a slave. And this is clearly articulated in the Bible. You become a slave. You have no power. You have no authority. You are like just there waiting for a time when they will come for you. Alone is a very bad thing. However much people say that a loan is a good thing, I understand people when they say that loans are good, loans can help you succeed in business, loans have helped people grow, even Kenya has a loan. It's a good thing, okay? But then it is good for people who have really predicted their income accurately. Okay, like for example, these civil servants, when they go for loans, they just know that they have a pay slip and it will be cut. Okay, or what can I say? These established ventures that have very high income, but they have experienced just a minor financial problem in their businesses. Those ones can borrow money. But a normal person like you, a freelancer like me, you are going to borrow money. You want to do monthly payments, and then you fail to pay. You fail to pay, or you experience challenges to pay. Courts will work with the police to oppress you. Do not joke, because tell me why a landlord cannot go to his tenant and then tell the tenant that you owe me this amount of money, pay me. According to what Karen Nyamu has said, this was bypassed. Then he went to court. Then after going to court, according to what we know, he obtained an order. Now, you are obtaining an order, and we have not heard, according to public reports, that there were proceedings. That Karen Nyamu was called and then she was heard. No, the case was not heard. The case was not determined based on what we know, that there was just an order, go and attach their property because they have rent arrears. I don't understand sometimes how law happens in this country. But because this one happened, she just has to accept the way it was, okay? And then again, from this story alone, there is some misconception I had about the court in general. Because I thought that judges could not be bribed. That is what we think about. Judges cannot be given this small money when there is a case involving 200, 300,000 shillings. We used to think that corruption cannot happen when that little money is involved. In the past, I used to think that all judges used to earn a lot of money. Because in our area, there is a magistrate who is doing really well. He has built a big house. He has land. You go to his home. It is very beautiful. And then we are told that magistrates or these judges, they earn around over 1 million shillings every month net income. And then you think these guys are earning well. But I went to some records, and then I noticed that some of these judges earn around 200,000. 200,000 a judge. And you are allowing this judge to determine a case of 1 million. Now, that is where I saw a problem. I saw a problem there because by the Karen Nyamu's money had jumped to 1.25 million, but I have left that case now. We are talking about a different matter, about these judges. Now, I noticed that these small claims court judges earn roughly 200,000. Money that we make out here when we are just running around. Now, that is the salary that you have. And then you have a lot of cases worth 500,000, 700,000, 1 million. You can play around with those judges of a small claims court, because if that is the salary they are getting, that's very little money. The government maybe can find a way to add these people for some money so that they cannot come and start receiving some small bribes, 50,000, 100,000. That is the money that some of us content creators, writers should be joking around with. That is the money we play around with out here. Judges are respected people who determine cases that affect families, judges are determining cases that affect mental health. You should pay judges well so that they cannot be bribed by this small amount. A judge earning 200,000. Small claims court judges earning 214, 198,000. Net income, I think maybe if Kasongo takes some little money, their housing levy. I wondered. I thought that judges earn a lot of money. This small claims court, you earn that little. No wonder you can just... No wonder somebody told me that just give me some 50,000, I'll go talk to a judge. 50? Anyway, the case of Karen Nyamu has taught us a lesson that sometimes when you have somebody's money, they can bypass asking you for money, then they can use a court. Now, the court can use the police. Now, the lender, together with the judge and the police, they have come now against you. Why? Because you don't have money. If you don't have a plan with money, don't borrow money. Because borrowing money is, in most cases, slavery. Thank you for listening to me. This is Kidia Kali, and we shall meet again in another video. And if you are going to church today, happy Sabbath. I am a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't drink.